Good morning, refiners.
With its sterile white walls, oddballs, and waffle parties, Severance has created a distinct and interesting tone. Supported by decades of comedy experience from Ben Stiller, writer Dan Erickson presents a refreshing take on modern work culture. And with its second season, the show has made its way into the mainstream. In this video I want to take a look at the writing that makes the show such a standout, but also why I believe there are crucial pieces of writing left out that are needed to make the show a true classic. Severance, meaning splitting off part of your own consciousness, opens up many interesting thematic ideas that can be explored throughout the show. The question, who are you, echoing throughout the series, since the very first scene. Your memories, choices, desires? What is it that makes you, you? The Lumen Corporation and the Egan family take the position that whatever it is you are is located only in your brain and can be turned on and off like a switch. A popular view in today's culture, and through scientific progress tries to separate and purify humanity. The show pushes against this notion, showing Mark hungover and Irving constantly falling asleep as a consequence of their Audi's actions. The show even works in some flourishes, like Bert's pet name for his partner, from endearing to conqueror, blurring the lines between good and evil.
And about 10 years ago, that became Attila.
The severed floor feels like a maze, to mirror the characters' confusion. The writers are very interested in the inner workings of innies and outies. From the conception of the show onwards, this has been the narrative force that drives the story. All the innies and outies are interesting. They have to make choices we don't have to make in everyday life, and yet they are compelling in the way they face them. Their motives are immediately understood, wants and needs empathized with, and emotions felt. The conflict between them and Lumen, amongst themselves, and even innie and outie, is never hand-waved, but fully embraced. And this is where my biggest gripe with the second season comes in. The secondary characters did not enjoy the same care. Conflict between them is at best teased, but in critical moments of the story, just sidelined entirely, like in the Cobalt Scout Alliance, that is critical for the final episode. While the former antagonists teaming up with the main characters can work very well, it did not work for me because the conflict between Cobalt and Devon was never resolved. And while I enjoyed the Cobalt episode and the insights into her character, the finale would have worked better if we had spent more time seeing the conflict between the three play out. It's that there was more conflict that needed to happen after the betrayal of Miss Cobalt towards Devon. It isn't the viewer that needs to understand Cobalt's actions, it's Devon. Them coming together after a confrontation could have built greater anticipation for the season finale. In general, a stark difference between season 1 and 2 for me was the lack of grounding of Kier into our world. While we saw glimpses of opposition in the first season with Petey's daughter and Regabi, they do not get built upon in season 2. Instead, Regabi shows up whenever the story needs her and vanishes just as quick.
Jesus Christ.
We need to understand these characters, but we don't get to. As the show progresses, it will become more important that we understand them. That's because Season 2's primary narrative drive is a rising conflict between innies and outies. First with Hallie and Dylan, and since the finale with Mark as well. But due to the nature of the show, only one person can have control over their body, and that person decides over when to give up that control. In the third season, it will become more important than ever for the secondary characters to be fully fleshed out, so that the influence they will exert on the main characters doesn't feel artificial. If the writers can nail the supporting characters, this show can become something truly special.